Right now, if you're driving through Middleton, your commute's going to be a lot easier. We'll tell you why.
Plus, a once historic house is now in shambles. The city of Madison is not happy and looking to hold someone accountable.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining us on this Wednesday, July 17th. And yes, we are once again talking about the heat and humidity. I'm just out of
this? That deserves a dramatic pause.
Pause. And it's going to get worse. That's the thing, is like I feel like we've been struggling through this already and we haven't even seen the worst yet.
We're just in the middle. Yeah, the hottest day is expected to be Friday, where heat index values could be up to 110. Oh. It doesn't often feel that hot here in Madison. Nice picture, though, from the WISC-TV sky cam shot this morning. Looking to the east, we had a little bit of cloud cover in the area, the remnants of some rain overnight for southern Wisconsin. Those storms held together long enough to move into southern Wisconsin overnight. About a 1/10 of an inch of rain at the airport, but higher amounts to the west. We'll run down some of those rain totals coming up in Maine weather. But what you need to know right now is that the rain has come to an end. Again, most of the day will be dry with chances for rain returning again tonight. Our current temperature right around 70 here in Madison, upper 60s to the west, but 70s in place to the east. Look at Milwaukee. They didn't have any rain. 78 degrees still in Milwaukee. Heat index today will be flirting with triple digits again this afternoon, so be prepared. It's going to be another hot one. Alert days are in the forecast through Sunday. Now let's get a look at those traffic maps, indicating that there is some work on the Beltline on the eastbound side, right around West Broadway, so be aware of that. There are no delays, though, in that area right now. No other accidents around Dane County, so travel's still looking pretty good as you head into Madison.
With that forecast and my dramatic pause, I was thinking about the monkey playing the piano, the dramatic music. Dun, dun, dun.
I suppose. Way over my head.
You're out of it.
Is that a meme?
Is that a country? Is that a country song?
It's a Giphy.
It's a gift. Okay.
I'll tweet you.
All right, I'll have to look that one up.
Thanks, Addie.
You're welcome.
All right, first this half hour. After months of construction and delays, driving through Middleton about to get a lot easier starting today. Work is finished on University Avenue, and that stretch will be back open to traffic. There's a ribbon-cutting ceremony scheduled for 12:30 this afternoon to celebrate the occasion. The $1.5 million project wrapped up a little later than originally planned due to weather delays after a wet spring. As part of the project, left turn lanes were added at Parmenter and University. City officials hope that will help cut down on congestion and reduce crashes in that area.
We have new information this morning about a fire that happened in Verona. It started around 4:30 yesterday afternoon, causing around $500,000 in damage. 8 departments responded to help put out that fire. The homeowner was outside of the home when crews arrived, and flames could be seen coming from the roof. No one was injured, including any pets in the house.
Madison police are looking for a second suspect this morning in connection with an attempted homicide last week. 20-year-old Joshua Dean from Fitchburg already in custody. He was arrested by U.S. Marshals in Illinois yesterday. They are still looking for this man, though. That is 19-year-old Marquis Meyer of Madison. Officers believe he might have been involved in that shooting that injured a teenager on the southeast side. Meyer has a tattoo above his right eye that says loyalty. If anyone sees him or might know where he is, you're asked to give police a call.
The man convicted of kidnapping Jamie Kloss and murdering her parents is waking up in a different prison this morning outside of Wisconsin. According to the Wisconsin Department of Corrections, Jake Patterson was transported out of the Dodge County Correctional Institution yesterday, but they aren't saying where he's being moved for his safety. Patterson is serving 2 life sentences.
An employee of the YMCA in Sun Prairie is due in court today for charges of first-degree sexual assault of a child. 19-year-old Del Monte Lee was arrested after police investigated accusations of sexual contact between Lee and a 5-year-old girl. Police in Sun Prairie say the girl was in the child care section of the Y and Lee was the caretaker. Lee faces a charge of first-degree sexual assault of a child under 13. His preliminary hearing is scheduled for this afternoon.
Around the state this morning, 6 people have been issued arrest warrants for what police are calling a flash mob theft at a mall in Kenosha. Some crazy video here. Kenosha News says 2 of the men have already been arrested and the other 4 are being sought on $50,000 warrants. They're believed to have been part of a group that stormed the North Face store at the Pleasant Prairie Premium Outlet Mall earlier this month. The group got away with more than $33,000 worth of clothing.
More local news now. The city of Madison is looking at taking action against the man who owns a historic house on Langdon Street. This home was once where U.S. President Grover Cleveland stayed when he was in town, and it's tied to even more history than that. But when city inspectors noticed the owner was not keeping it up to its historical standards, groups with the city had to get involved.
This is a sacred trust. When you own a historic building that's not only a local landmark, but on the National Register, you have an obligation to the public to maintain that building.
Some strong words there. The Landmarks Commission filed a demolition by neglect, which would allow the city to do the work needed to bring the building up to code, then hand the bill over to the homeowner. He appealed that decision, and now the Plan Commission will decide whether to uphold it before it goes to the full council. The homeowner's lawyer, meanwhile, says he is working on improvements and will have them done by August.
Happening today, the city of Madison is hosting a public hearing to talk about a new technology that would expand and speed up access to cellular data. 5G will be coming to Madison soon, but to make that happen, small cell devices will have to be installed across the city. Things like antennas would be put on poles along city streets. The city says they're working on guidelines to make sure those installations maximize the technology while making sure our streets don't look noticeably different. For more information or to voice your thoughts or concerns on any of these new devices, you can go to the Board of Public Works meeting tonight at 6 at the Madison Engineering Operations Facility.
There's another meeting happening tonight for you to weigh in on whether Madison should allow dogs in more of its parks.
We do get a lot of requests from people on both sides, people who would like us to enforce the dog ordinance more, so they would see less dogs in parks, and people who own dogs and they would like to walk dogs, have more options to walk dogs in parks. So we do get a lot of requests both ways.
Last night's meeting was the first in a series of 5 public meetings on the topic. Right now, only 26 of the city's 270 parks are accessible to dogs. Tonight's meeting is happening at 6:30 over at Memorial High School. If you can't make it, there's also an online survey you can take instead.
The Madison School District is asking for feedback as it works on writing a facilities referendum question. The Cap Times reports that they want to add the question to the November 2020 ballot. They have to approve that language by the end of May. It could include renovations to the city's 4 main high schools and a possible new elementary school on the city's south side. This fall, district officials will be holding focus groups, open community input sessions, and an online survey to collect feedback about possible upgrades.
A Beloit College graduate will be returning to his alma mater today after walking 22 miles a day every day since April 14th. Tommy Zurhelen chose to walk 22 miles a day to raise awareness for the 22 vets who take their own lives every day. The 50-year-old Persian Gulf War vet started in Portland, Oregon, and is more than halfway through his journey now. He'll end in Poughkeepsie, New York, where he teaches English, having walked nearly 3,000 miles. Wow. What an incredible goal there.
That is awesome. Coming up on 6:08 on this Wednesday morning, excessive rain and now high temperatures have made this a tough season for farmers to grow crops. And now they're having a tough season selling products at the farmers market, too. Coming up, Christina Laurie is live with how the weather has impacted the farmers market this year.
Speaking of harsh temperatures, the alert days are continuing in our forecast. Hattie has a look when News 3 Now This Morning returns.
Good morning from the Hattie-O patio. Kind of a muggy start this morning after a little bit of rain here across southern Wisconsin overnight. We do have a lot of heat and humidity to talk about, as well as the potential for severe weather. So let's get right to the details. Alert days remain in the forecast through Sunday. Now it looks like zooming in on Friday as the hottest day. Thursday and Saturday will still be pretty hot, but some cloud cover may limit temperatures just a little bit. Friday, lots of sunshine, no rain, and heat index values possibly up to 110 degrees. Now, the heat bulletins have been expanded across southern Wisconsin. Nothing in effect right now. They'll start at noon on Thursday, so noon tomorrow. It's an excessive heat advisory for south central Wisconsin and southeastern Wisconsin. That does include Madison, Janesville, and the Dells. And it's excessive heat watch for the southwestern corner of the state. We also have a flash flood watch that will start tonight at 7 p.m. for southwestern Wisconsin. There has been some rain over the last 24 hours. Well, it just was about a tenth in the airport at Madison. We did have some slightly higher amounts west of town, especially across Iowa and parts of eastern Lafayette counties, where the radar was estimating anywhere from 1.5 to 2 inches of rain overnight. Those showers, though, quickly fell apart this morning. We're looking at dry conditions right now. A lot of activity rolling across North and South Dakota this morning. Those showers and thunderstorms are expected to dive south and east, so most of that activity will miss southern Wisconsin. It's during the overnight time frame that another line of showers and thunderstorms will move through, and this one brings the chance for severe weather. That slight risk area does include Madison and all of southwestern Wisconsin. Again, the time frame would be overnight. The main threat would likely be strong winds. A live look from the Edgewater Skycam looking over downtown Madison. Some cloud cover still in the area with that rain overnight, but it is quickly clearing, especially to the west. Skies are clear right now at 68 in Platteville, 69 in the Dells. We're at 70 here in Madison, and it's 72 in Janesville. Speaking of the 70s, that's where we'll see the dew points through most of today, so it's going to be pretty uncomfortable. That heat index, again, flirting with 100 later on this afternoon. Here's a look at your future track forecast model. Dry conditions with partly sunny skies today. A pretty quick warm up. We're headed to highs in the low 90s this afternoon. There is a slight chance for some rain west of Madison this evening, but a better chance for the entire area overnight. We'll stop the map at about 4:30, and you can see a line of showers and thunderstorms moving into Dane County. Those storms clear the area pretty quickly on Thursday morning, and the rest of the day will be dry. Highest rain amounts will be north and west of Madison with this particular event. Here's a look at your extended forecast. Again, alert days through Sunday, but it looks like we will get a break from the heat and humidity as we head into next week. Temperatures are back in the 80s, a little bit closer to normal for this time of the year. Now let's get a look at your first alert traffic maps this morning. We'll send it over to Jason Stone for all the details. Good morning, Jason.
Good morning. No major issues on the Beltline, only a minor delay on the interchanges as drivers are at or near the posted speed limit once on the Beltline. Routes around Dane County and heading into Madison are clear for travel, and downtown commuters are moving without any problems. With your first alert traffic, I'm Jason Stone.
All right, thank you so much, Jason, and thank you, Hattie. So if you are headed to the farmers market at the Capitol Square this weekend, you're going to be battling the heat.
That heat wave plus all of the other wild weather we've had this season is leaving its impact on vendors. Christina Laurie is checking in with them to see how business has been doing. She joins us live from downtown. Hi, Christina.
Hi, Josh and Leah. So we're midway through July. That means we're also midway through outdoor farmers market season. So we thought now would be the perfect time to check in to see how those farmers are doing after rather wacky weather. Joining us to talk about that is Jill. She helps lead the Wednesday morning market. Good morning. Thanks for sticking out here with us.
Yeah, my pleasure.
So what challenges have farmers faced this year specifically?
So certainly the weather has been immensely challenging. With the alternating or sometimes simultaneous cold and then the ton of rain we've had. And then certainly right now, it is extremely hot. So our farmers have been, they're out in the field picking snap peas, beans under this intense heat. And it's a lot for the body. And, as a small business owner, that's just like a lot to handle both the physical and the mental challenges.
So as someone who enjoys going to the farmers market, I know I enjoy spending my Saturdays there. Is there anything that I can do to help out these farmers?
Well, certainly, I think the best way to support them and to help them out is something that helps you or sort of is a delightful experience in of itself, and that's just purchasing from them. So, I mean, shopping local and coming to your local farmers markets is the best way to support our local farmers.
And looking ahead, I know different fruits, vegetables, they kind of cycle in and out of season. So can we do a quick run through of what people can expect for the second half of market season?
Yeah, so I mean, it's hard to believe that we are already in the midst of summer and fall is not that far behind. Certainly in the second half, we're going to see the sweet corn coming in. We're going to see your hot weather crops, your tomatoes, your beautiful heirloom tomatoes, your peppers, both mild and hot. You're going to see eggplant, and then certainly when we get into the fall, that's when the winter squashes come in and a lot of those cool season greens as well.
Thanks so much, Jill. We're going to check in with Jill one more time ahead in our 6:30 half hour. But as always, you'll be able to get your fresh produce later this morning right here along Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard, the Wednesday Farmers Market. That opens at 8:30 this morning and runs until 1:45.
Ooh, lots of good stuff on the menu. All right, Christina Laurie, thank you so much.
So if you need a place to cool down in the coming days, hospitals, libraries, and senior centers are being opened as cooling centers in Rock County and several other counties in our area. Only a handful of people visit each cooling center, but usually there aren't added costs for businesses to become a cooling space. At these centers, people are responsible for bringing their own belongings, water, and food, and they should not be confused with overnight shelters. If you need a place to get out of the heat this week, we have a list of cooling centers on the Channel 3000 mobile app.
Madison police also have a reminder for anyone who plans on driving their pets around in this heat. Make sure you take them with you when you leave your car. MPD will be giving out tickets to anyone leaving an animal in a parked car for more than 15 minutes. For adults, that means a $187 ticket, and for people under 18, it's a mandatory court date. Good reminder right there. All right, still ahead, it is the biggest night for the small screen. The nominees for the 71st Emmy Awards are in. We're going to tell you who made the cut.
And the worst may be yet to come when it comes to that heat and humidity in Wisconsin. Hattie's tracking the potential for triple-digit heat indices coming up. Thanks for watching News 3 Now this morning. Welcome back at 6:21 on a Wednesday morning, and I was a little surprised to see a little wet pavement out there. I feel like we haven't had this in quite some time after we had it for a long stretch.
Yeah, you know, the last several nights, all that rain has fallen apart as it moves into southern Wisconsin. I expected that to happen again last night, so I told my husband, yeah, go ahead, stain the pergola. It'll be fine. Not expecting any rain till Wednesday night, but we did get a little rain here in Madison, so sorry, honey.
Poor Scott.
Yeah.
He'll be all right. It's arty. We'll look arty now.
Yeah, maybe a
Little dappled
spotted.
look. Yeah, it's great.
All natural.
All good. All right, well, let's talk about those chances for rain. All the rain has fallen apart now this morning. Most of the day is dry, although there is a potential for some more showers and thunderstorms later on tonight. Best time frame will be overnight, and the Storm Prediction Center has issued a slight risk for severe weather. That does include Dane County and all areas to the west. The main threat looks to be strong winds with those storms tonight. There is the potential, though, for some heavy rain, and the National Weather Service in La Crosse has implemented a flash flood watch that will start at 7 p.m. this evening and go through 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. Now, again, we're starting off pretty quiet early today. Temperatures are in the 60s to around 70 in Watertown and here in Madison. Future track heat index today, though, pretty high. We're talking about heat index values climbing through the 90s, flirting with 100 degrees later on this afternoon. Temperatures will be pretty slow to cool down this evening as well. And that's your first alert forecast.
All right, Eddie, thank you so much. And the Emmy goes to, well, we don't quite know what the Emmys are going to be yet, but we do know the nominees for that of the small screen. We're going to show you that right now. The nominees were announced Tuesday. The Game of Thrones broke the record for most nominations earned in a single year for a drama series. The recently concluded fantasy epic racked up 32 nominations. This is not only Thrones' last Emmy Awards, it's also the last time for the recently concluded Longtime Awards features Veep and The Big Bang Theory. You'll have to tune in September 22nd to see if any of these shows are able to claim any Swan Song awards.
I know you are not excited about the Game of Thrones awards, are you?
No. I mean, like, I just never watched it, so I really don't know what.
It's sort of surprising because a lot of fans did not like the way that the last season went. I was sort of ambivalent. It was fine.
It'll be interesting to see. I mean, this is their last chance, so.
Yeah, good luck to them. All right, folks, here's an app that's been going viral on social media lately. You probably have seen it. It's called the Face app. It uses AI to take your face and make it look significantly older. There's a hashtag FaceApp challenge going around right now that's encouraging users to upload the aged up photo of yourself.
So we thought it'd be fun to do our own FaceApp challenge before the show. We had our pictures taken. We have not seen these yet, so here goes nothing. Oh my gosh! What in the world?
Oh man, look at that smile on my face. I look miserable.
Jeez, what is that?
Boy.
I look like Bob Schieffer.
Hey, that's a handsome look for you.
No, it doesn't look bad. I don't know who you look like.
Diane Keaton?
Actually, maybe a little bit.
Yes!
I think
I'll take that.
You need to smile more, though. What is that?
I'm not going to be very happy in old age, apparently.
Oh, man. Yeah, you can download the Face app and do that for yourself. I've seen it all over social media. It's quite funny and a little scary.
Excuse me while I go buy the wrinkle cream.
A lot of it.
That is terrifying. Okay, still ahead, we have the top 3 things you need to know to get your Wednesday started.
Plus, the heat's been bothering a lot of us, even our furry friends. See what zoos are doing to keep the animals safe when News 3 Now This Morning returns.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now This Morning.
Good morning, Wisconsin, and thanks for joining us on this Wednesday, July 17th. Hattie, how are you doing over there?
Well, I'm working on some new weather. It's going to heat up a little bit around here, Josh. Have you heard about that?
Even more?
What?
Oh my gosh, I can't do this anymore.
Just a wee bit.
Just a little bit longer.
Boy.
And then, hey, there's a cool down later on, right?
Next week.
Next
yes.
week.
Stay tuned.
We can do it.
All right, Hattie's got the details on a couple more alert days in the forecast. But first, let's start with the 3 things you need to know on this Wednesday morning. Former Supreme Court Justice John Paul Stevens has died after suffering a stroke this week in Florida. Stevens spent more than 3 decades on the court. He was chosen back in 1975 by President Gerald Ford and was welcomed by both sides of the aisle. He retired in 2010 at 90 years old as the 2nd oldest judge in the court's history. Stevens will likely be buried at Arlington National Cemetery. He was 99 years old.
To our second story now, the U.S. House is condemning comments from President Donald Trump after a vote capped off a rocky couple of hours on Capitol Hill. The vote was 240 to 187. All of the Democrats, 4 Republicans, and 1 independent supported it. The resolution denounces the president for comments targeting 4 Democratic congresswomen of color and heads to the GOP-controlled Senate now.
And the third story we are monitoring, hospitals, libraries, and senior centers are opening up as cooling centers in counties across Wisconsin to help keep you and your loved ones safe. At those centers, people are still responsible for their own belongings, water, and food, and they will not be staying open overnight. You can find a list of those centers over on Channel3000.com.
Those are your top 3 things this morning. Hattie's here now with your weather and traffic update. Hi, Hattie.
Good morning, Josh and Leah. We have a nice start today. Look at this view from the Edgewater Skycam. Sunshine over downtown Madison. Skies have cleared after a little bit of rain in the area overnight. Take a look at Weather Track and it'll show you that rain quickly falling apart over the last couple of hours. Clouds continue to move off to the east with this system as well. Temperatures are in the upper 60s to around 70 degrees this morning, so it's another mild and muggy start to the day. Heat index will be a factor this afternoon as it climbs into the 90s, even into the low 100s later on today. So be aware of the high heat and humidity. Your first alert traffic maps will show you this morning no major issues on the Beltline right now. Just a few brake lights starting to show up around Stoughton Road and Park Street. Drive times into the city a little bit slower on Verona Road as you head northbound. Otherwise, no other accidents to report. And that's your first alert traffic.
All right, thank you very much, Hattie. So this Saturday marks the halfway point for our favorite season here in Madison, the Dane County Farmers Market.
But the crazy weather we've seen so far this summer might be impacting what you're able to buy. Christina Laurie joins us live this morning with what you need to know before you go. Good morning, Christina.
Hi, Josh and Leah. Jill Grundyke has been spending all morning here with us, so talking about the tough year that farmers have had so far and the impact that might have on your next visit to the farmers market. So has this weather impacted prices at all?
So that's a really great question. From what I can remember from this past 2018 season, I am not seeing any change in prices. And I think that is truly based on the fact that our farmers are harvesting what they're growing. And so we're not seeing any decrease in quantities at market that would affect prices.
So they're harvesting what they're growing, it just might be a little bit later in the season.
Right.
And so this morning there is a market that people often overlook, the Wednesday morning market. What are some of the benefits to coming out today?
Yeah, that's it. So our Wednesday market is certainly our Saturday market on the square is our sort of the gem of Madison, but our Wednesday market is a more intimate market. We have around this time of year 35 to 40 vendors, and it draws from the same Dane County Farmers Market member pool. So you might see some of the same farmers, bakers, and cheesemakers that you see on Saturday. But yeah, there's a lot more elbow room. Certainly, it's a great way to shop locally, especially for those that work and live downtown. And you can buy the whole plate. So there's cheeses, fruits, veggies, bakery goods, meats, and not on the plate, but cut flowers certainly as well.
And we're almost out of time, but I wanted to ask you really quick, if you buy something new at the farmers market, you're not sure what to do with it, are there any resources you guys have?
Yeah, so please, if you are at our market and you're wondering what to do with the fennel or the apples that you're seeing later in the fall, please come to our info booth. We have free seasonal recipe cards that feature ingredients you can find at market that will help you figure out what to do with that ingredient.
That's great, because as those squashes come into season, I know tomatoes will be coming up soon. You can find new ways to incorporate them and more fresh food into your daily meal. So thank you so much for talking to us this morning, Jill. And if you'd like to come out to the Wednesday morning farmers market, vendors are going to start lining up here along Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard starting around 8 o'clock. That market opens at 8:30. And then as usual, this Saturday, the regular outdoor large Dane County Farmers Market will be back on the square. I know it was moved off because of Art Fair on the square last weekend, Josh and Leah.
Well, we know that you'll be there, Christina.
You can bet on it.
Christina Laurie live in downtown Madison this morning. Christina, thank you.
All right, this heat means taking special precautions, not just for yourself, but for animals and not just pets. Henry Vilas Zoo is closely monitoring those weather conditions, making sure animals have options to stay cool. That means plenty of shady spots, sprinklers, indoor areas with air conditioning, and some frozen treats. They say climate change is bringing more extremely hot and extremely cold days, and they're blaming historic flooding on the deaths of nearly all of the zoo's prairie dogs earlier this year. They're keeping the changing climate in mind as they look ahead to the future.
We are looking to rebuild, but again, we just want to make sure that we do it in the most sustainable way as possible so that we can make sure that they are safe and comfortable as we move into a climate that may be different from the one that we have now.
The aviary is currently closed as the zoo puts on a new roof to help with insulation and to help reduce its carbon footprint. That should wrap up in August.
Today, plans to build a $25 million homeless facility will be presented to the Urban Design Commission. The Salvation Army in East Wash is expanding its current building into a 5-story facility. It plans on adding mental health services and an on-site medical and dental staff. But the plans face some opposition from neighbors who say there's a problem with crime in the area, saying the issue stems from those who go to that shelter.
We are celebrating 150 years of women graduating from UW-Madison. Last night, 3 alumnae spoke on a panel about the importance of remembering this anniversary.
Marcy Bowers, a 1980 graduate, is a pioneer in the field of sex reassignment surgery. 2003 graduate Fatima Embrahimi is a principal research physicist in the Princeton Plasma Physicals Labs Theory Department.
And Sagacious Livingston, who just graduated with her PhD this year, is the author and founder of the infamous Mothers LLC. The Alumni Association says the university has long been a supporter of women.
Women graduated from the UW-Madison 50 years before there was the opportunity to vote. So we're really proud that the UW has had a long history of access to education for women.
The Alumni Association is holding events all year to mark that anniversary.
The UW-Madison's Ice Cube Lab in Antarctica is getting some upgrades thanks to some new federal funding. The lab has been awarded $23 million to continue its work in detecting and identifying the source of high-energy neutrinos. That funding is going to go toward enabling the instruments to detect neutrinos with smaller energy ranges, kicking off what will be known as Ice Cube Gen 2, exactly what we want to be talking about on this steamy hot July morning.
Oh, I could use some ice right now.
You and me both.
6:36 is your time this morning. New studies are showing us how to keep our brains healthy this morning.
After the break, we're taking a look at how exercise and having a job can keep your brain running smooth. That's when News 3 Now This Morning returns.
6:40 right now. Time for hashtag MyNews3Morning, and Pat is bringing us some color this morning.
Watercolor is what that looks like. Just a gorgeous photo.
I said earlier, this is something that I would put on my living room wall.
We get these very professional quality photos sent in all of the time. You people are so impressive. Thanks so much for sharing, Pat.
And I think impressive just living in southern Wisconsin too,
That's
right?
true.
We get all these beautiful photos. If you've got a photo that you'd like to share, you can do so by going to our Channel 3000 Facebook page and use the hashtag MyNews3Morning.
All right, ladies, there is a study out this morning that says that job might help you fight off memory loss later in life. Researchers presented new information at the Alzheimer's Association International Conference in LA yesterday. They say women who were not a part of the workforce saw the fastest memory decline in their study. Paid work might offer benefits like mental stimulation, more money, and social connections that could contribute to that finding.
Also at that Alzheimer's conference, a new study shows that having higher levels of physical activity might protect against cognitive decline and brain tissue loss from Alzheimer's disease. Researchers say the benefits were seen even at low levels of exercise, but were most striking at around 8,900 steps a day, just below the 10,000 steps a lot of people try to get in every day.
Might want to take that exercise to the pool today, folks, because we are only about halfway through this stretch of alert days for the heat and humidity. Hattie has your out-the-door forecast when we return.
There's a live look at the pool right now. No Barrett, he must got his swimming in already.
Hey, come on, buddy. We got to pick up the exercise. You just heard that last story.
He's already got his exercise in for the day. Leave him alone.
Probably.
All right, first, though, before we go to break, let's take a look at this. If you have a little kid turning 3 soon, please let us know so you can show their picture on TV. Thanks for watching News 3 Now This Morning. We'll be right back. Welcome back at 6:45 on a Wednesday morning. There's a look at the sunrise, and it's already very, very warm out there. So it's kind of like We're already like in a tour. I don't even know. I don't even know what I'm saying. This
Where are
is
you
what the
going
heat's
with
doing to
this,
me.
Josh? It's been a long week, folks, of talking about the heat.
I mean, we're already like, what, in the 70s this morning?
We didn't really cool down to the 70s at all. So we're getting a nice warm start to the day. It feels a little muggy with some rain overnight. But again, we have some sunshine early today. Nice shot from the Edgewater Sky Cam. There will be some heat advisories that start tomorrow. Here's a look at the heat bulletins. They have been expanded. Now, heat advisory starting at noon on Thursday for south central and southeastern Wisconsin. Still an excessive heat watch for the southwestern corner of the state. Same time frame, though, starting at noon on Thursday. Friday looks to be the hottest day out of the next several. Alert days are still in the forecast. Haven't made any major changes to the extended forecast. Alert days continue through Sunday. Again, Friday, though, we could see potential heat index values up to 110. Now, here's a look at what's happening this morning. We did have some rain overnight. All that rain has diminished and fallen apart across southern Wisconsin. A pretty large complex of storms moving out of South Dakota at this hour. It is likely going to dive southeast, though, coming close to southern Wisconsin. There's a chance that areas west of Madison may see some rain this evening, but our best chance for rain across the entire area is overnight tonight. And the Storm Prediction Center has included south central and southwestern Wisconsin as well as much of the central part of the state in that slight risk area. Again, timing on that would be overnight, and the main threats would be strong winds as well as potential for some heavy rain. That's prompted a flash flood watch for the southwestern corner of the state starting at 7 p.m. this evening. Now, temperatures this morning are in the 70s. As Josh mentioned, it's a pretty mild start to the day. 71 in Watertown and Juneau, 72 in Janesville. Platteville and Prairie du Chien are in the upper 60s right now. Dew points, though, are going to be in the 70s through the day, so that means it's going to feel pretty uncomfortable outside. Here's a look at your future track heat index forecast starting just before the lunch hour. Heat index values across the area, generally in the 90s, will climb quickly this afternoon, flirting with 100 degrees in most spots. Now, this is what it will feel like. This is not actual air temperature. This is heat index later today. Staying pretty uncomfortable through the evening hours as we go through tonight. Now, that chance for rain, again, here's the slight chance west of Madison this evening. This is 9 o'clock. As we put this map into motion, take a look at what happens overnight. There will be a complex of showers and thunderstorms that advances across the area that could move through the Madison area right around between 4 and 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. And again, some damaging winds are possible with those storms. They'll clear the area pretty quickly on Thursday morning. Total rain from this event, lightest amounts south and east, higher amounts in excess of an inch possible in our northwestern viewing area. Here's a look at your extended forecast then. Still in the 90s heading into the upcoming weekend. Alert days continue through Sunday. Looking ahead to next week, though, if you don't like the heat and humidity, we get a break. Temperatures are back in the 80s with lower humidity for at least a couple of days. Here's a look at our pet walk forecast.
Honey.
A cutie, Lita in Middleton. She says, I don't really want to go for a walk today.
I don't blame her.
If you know, it's days like this, or if you don't get the walk in before 7 o'clock, it might not happen.
Josh, this is our mood today.
Seriously, it
Really
really
get
is.
away from the heat.
Just hunker
Sick of
down.
it.
Hunker down.
That's all right.
All
It'll
right,
be over
Hattie.
soon.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Stay with us. The Morning Sprint is up next on News 3 Now this morning. But first, here's Gail King with what's coming up at the top of the hour. Hi, Gail.
Good morning to you. Ahead on CBS this morning, our exclusive interview with the 4 Democratic congresswomen known as the Squad. Why they call President Trump's racist tweets a distraction. Plus, actor Kevin Bacon shows us how the 1969 moon landing continues to influence pop culture today. We'll see you 7 o'clock on the dot.
It is 6:52, time for the morning sprint as our team gives you more local news than anyone else to start your Wednesday.
We start this morning in Middleton. That's where your commute is about to get a whole lot easier now that construction is officially finished along University Avenue. The $1.5 million project wrapped up a little later than planned due to weather delays this spring. Left turn lanes were added at Parmenter Street and University with the goal of cutting down on congestion and crashes there.
Former Supreme Court Justice John Paul Stevens has died after suffering a stroke in Florida. Stevens spent more than 3 decades on that court. He was chosen for the court in 1975 by President Gerald Ford and was welcomed on both sides of the aisle. He retired in 2010 at 90 years old as the second oldest judge in the court's history. He was 99 years old.
The U.S. House is condemning comments from President Trump after a vote capped off a rocky couple of hours on Capitol Hill. The vote, 240 to 187, all Democrats, 4 Republicans, and 1 independent supporting it. The resolution denounces the president for comments targeting 4 Democratic congresswomen of color. It now heads to the GOP-controlled Senate.
A little bit of rain across parts of southern Wisconsin overnight. Clouds are clearing the area, and the rest of the daytime hours will likely be dry for southern Wisconsin. It's going to be another hot one today. High temperatures climbing back into the low 90s. Heat index values this afternoon flirting with 100 degrees.
Patty, thank you. Hospitals, libraries, and senior centers are opening up as cooling centers in counties across Wisconsin to help keep you and your loved ones safe. At these centers, people are still responsible for their own belongings, water, and food. They will not stay open overnight, though. You can find a list of these centers on the Channel 3000 mobile app.
Animals also need special precautions in this heat, and not just your pets. The staff at Henry Vilas Zoo is closely monitoring weather conditions to make sure animals have options to stay cool. That means plenty of shady spots, sprinklers, indoor areas with air conditioning, and some frozen treats.
Saturday mornings here in Madison just wouldn't be the same without the outdoor Dane County Farmers Market. And after a week off, vendors return to the square this Saturday for the second half of market season. Vendors will be hoping this go-round will provide more stability. After a cold and wet start, vendors are hoping for more crowds heading into the fall. September is routinely the busiest time of year at the outdoor market as football games draw big crowds. As usual, this weekend Saturday market will be on the square from 6:15 until 1:45. And today's Wednesday market runs from 8:30 until 1:45 here on the 200 block of Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard.
Christina, thank you. The Madison School District is asking for your feedback as it works on writing a facilities referendum question. The Cap Times reports that they want to add the question to the November 2020 ballot and have to approve that language by the end of May. It could include renovations to the city's 4 main high schools and a possible new elementary school on the city's south side.
An employee of the YMCA in Sun Prairie is due in court today on charges of first-degree sexual assault of a child. 19-year-old Del Monte Lee was arrested over accusations of sexual contact between himself and a 5-year-old girl. Police in Sun Prairie say the girl was in the child care section of the Y and Lee was the caretaker. His preliminary hearing is scheduled for this afternoon.
Madison police are looking for a second suspect this morning connected to an attempted homicide from last week. 20-year-old Joshua Dean from Fitchburg is already in custody, arrested by U.S. Marshals in Illinois yesterday. They're still looking for 19-year-old Marquise Meyer of Madison. Officials believe that he might be involved in a shooting last week.
We are giving you an update now about a fire in Verona that started around 4:30 yesterday and caused around $500,000 in damage. 8 departments responded to help put out that fire. The homeowner was outside at the time when crews arrived. Flames could be seen coming from the roof. No one was injured, though, including any pets in the house.
To morning sports now. Things are starting to look up for the Brewers. After losing 8 of their last 10 games, they beat up on the Atlanta Braves last night. The big hit of the game came in the 7th when Christian Yelich hit a grand slam, his 33rd home run of the season. Final score, Brewers 13, Braves 1. This was the first game where the Brewers scored more than 7 runs in over a month.
Tonight is the 3rd show for the summer Concerts on the Square series at the Capitol. The Wisconsin Chamber Orchestra hosting Film Night this evening, playing some of Hollywood's best scores. The concert starts at 7. You can put your blankets down as early as 3 this afternoon.
6:56 now. Let's turn it over to Jason Stone with a look at your first alert traffic. Hey, Jason.
Good morning. Some minor delays at the Stoughton and Verona Road interchanges. Otherwise, no major issues on the Beltline. All lanes are at or near the posted speed limit. And your commute downtown on John Nolan slows down at Olin Avenue and North Shore Drive. With your first alert traffic, I'm Jason Stone.
Jason, thank you.
And here's a look at some of those drive times heading into Madison this morning. Nothing major happening to slow you down just yet. Let's hope that stays the case through the entire morning. Skies are clearing here in Madison. It's going to be another hot one. We're at 70 this morning. Temperatures will only go up from here. We're headed to highs in the low 90s later on this afternoon with partly sunny skies. There will be a chance for some showers and thunderstorms, especially overnight tonight. There's a slight risk for severe weather. The hot and humid weather, though, continues right through the weekend. Some relief coming next week.
I'm looking forward to some relief.
So am I.
Thanks, Hattie.
Hey, folks, stay cool this afternoon. Stay tuned for those thunderstorms. We'll have details on that up on channel3000.com. And thanks for joining us this morning. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning. Have a good one.